Have you ever wondered what it takes to actually build this 18 by 40 foot signature pond at Aqua Haven? Stick around because you're about to find out. We have completely ripped out the old concrete pond that frankly just never did it for us and looked a little out of way. We still have a vision of a pond here, just a better and closer to the typical aquascape system that you would find. We're going to add a full retaining wall all the way around, put an infinity edge, a stacked slate retaining wall there, and up here will be a pond. And then we're going to continue that as a stream and a waterfall that starts with fountainscapes back there. We'll be removing this guy and adding it somewhere else. Okay, so we got the majority excavated. We got a little bit ahead of ourselves and we actually want to backfill and narrow that up a little bit. The cool part is that you'll be able to get right up to the water here. We're going to plant this out really nice. We are fully dug in and shaped. We want to make sure that the space continues to grow along with our abilities, and we want to make sure that we're always on the cutting edge and never just doing the basics. We want to make sure that we continue to create more and more exceptional pieces, because that's our goal, is to be the best in the entire industry, to be the best version of us, and we want to make sure that we're constantly giving the highest value to each and every one of our customers. We'll update, started that wall, and we've rocked in this side. We definitely have a lot more to do. So as you can see, there, slipping and sliding, but getting this set of staircase in so we can finally button this edge up, backfill to that wall, and begin our stream. Pond is pretty well done. We have a little bit of river stone to put in, and then we of course have this entire basin and fountainscape to dig in right where the machine is, and then we have a ton of grading, big O, and make sure that this stays flowing smooth. Eric's over there digging second fountainscape, and Marcus bringing over the first stacked slate sphere. Okay, we got the first fountainscape in, we got the second aqua basin 45 in. We're filling up the pond. We got our custom fish cave. We've got these stairs built, and now we're filling them in. I have a very cool one-of-a-kind cantilever I haven't seen anywhere else over here. We're going to put a small fountainscape in there, and then all that's left is to do what I've been putting off, which is a seam and the waterfall. Okay, fire pit is in. Fountains were just turned on. The whole vision of this, of course, was that kids and people can get as close to the feature as physically possible and have that wonder of where the heck the water is going. And I think we nailed that part. We've got our aqua basin in. We got our stack slate wall there. staircase. We got our reservoirs and our urn in our stag-slate sphere here. We have our fire pit there that we made. We have a ton of work back there to deal with. We have to build this waterfall still. We have to do all the edges of this pond, but we got a huge chunk of this done, ready for next year. The Aztec pond working away. We're leaving that running all winter, which has been fun to see all the ice sculptures. We have this guy winterized, as that's just a 30-gallon basin, not big enough for winter. We have to do a little bit of cleanup on these steps, but pretty well all said and done. We want to cut this part because that doesn't look right. This is a big planting pocket. You know, we've been working on the edge today, and then it's clean up. We're going to pull this out, flip the whole liner back, fill up behind a bit so we have a little bit of initially higher drop, and then and a shallower stream. And then we've cleaned up this infinity wall, which I absolutely love. I'm not loving the seam. I foamed it, but next spring we'll just paint that up so that it disappears a bit. And you got this beautiful piece of stone as what's going to wash over. And the idea is that this is going to be wide enough that the koi can't actually swim over the edge, because that would be sad. But you're going to have this overhanging deck, waterfall coming from over there, all these other features. You also got this fountain feature greeting you as you walk all the way around.
Part of the whole reason why we built these features is so that we can test and see how they last, not only through the summer, spring, and fall, but most importantly through the winter. When somebody asks, can I run this during the winter, I want to know 100% if I can say yes or no. So for some of these features we've learned, like the stag-slate sphere, 100% fantastic, looks gorgeous through the winter, and only needs a very minimal amount of extra water through that winter to keep it sustainable.
But now that we have this pond, honestly what it feels to me is that we have a center stage. What I mean by that is that I want to build around this space. I want to continue to grow and show off more and more of what we can do, and use our property as a staging ground, use our property as a spot to experiment and get creative and have some fun. And also we want to make sure that it's an ever-inviting space for kids and families. So I really wanted the fountainscapes that you could actually run up to them and touch them and play with that water. And I wanted to make sure that some part of the pond was super interactive as well. And so we made this infinity falls that goes into a basin that the kids could actually bring their hands and like touch the water and get like that eye level view with the fish and the plants and the pond itself. So they asked, can you swim in your pond? Now there is a difference between a rec pond and an aqua garden. Well, that's something to be very particular about, and make sure that you follow the bylaws in your area. But I'm not gonna lie, when I jump in my pond, it's the greatest feeling. It's like jumping in a lake, except it's yours. When people try so hard and get that lakefront view, it's a wonderful thing, but most of us cannot afford to buy those types of properties. However, with enough savings and enough will, whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or you hire a professional, you can have your own pond. So this is a big collaborative effort. We had to space this out way further than we ever would have hoped. We used it as a bit of a training ground for some of our guys, and then we let loose a few people to make sure that we could get this done in the meantime, as we were working on a number of key projects. We had Rick and Jason and Rick's son helping with the excavation, the moving the soil, the building of the retaining wall, and getting all the shelves dug out. And then we had Marcus, myself, Sean, fill in the rest of the pond, get it all rocked in. And then we had Jesse come in and Nicholas come in to help with the final falls. And of course we had Daryl build our beautiful bridge so that it would tie it all together and look fantastic. So I also just want to say thank you so much for spending your time with us. We know how valuable that is. I really hope you hit the like and subscribe. Maybe check out some of our past videos and keep an eye out for our future. And make sure to keep an eye out for updates on the actual pond. We just docked 100 fish into this, which will be a video in the future. And we want to make sure that you guys get to understand and see how this pond evolves. Because these things, once they're done, it's just the beginning.